Baxter.
We're good to go, Mum.
Okay, welcome everyone. It is so wonderful to have you all on tonight. I'm very, very excited to be sharing with you. And welcome to Creating a Bright Future for February. A huge, huge thank you to Lee Aarons for being our very first guest speaker for 2024. Oh my goodness. And so what I thought would be great to share with you tonight is a little bit about my story. I'm hoping there's some people here that are fairly new to the Nutrimetics tribe, to our amazing, amazing, wonderful company. And I would love to just share a little bit about what is possible in Nutrimetics. What is possible for you? What is possible for me? One of the secrets that I have learned over the years since I joined Nutrimetics was that if it's possible for one, it's possible for many. And I would like to share with you that if it is possible for so many people who are online tonight, who are part of the Executive Sales Manager Club with Nutrimetics, the Executive Club, who have created a fabulous part-time or full-time income for themselves and their family, who have created a lifestyle that gives them so much freedom of choice, freedom to be their own boss, freedom to increase their income when they want to, freedom to approve all of their holidays and their leave for the year, and freedom to be the best version of you and be part of a company that claps for other people and supports other women and men who are part of this company. So there are a few of the things that I love about this company, but to share a little bit, I was actually brought up in a small place in southwest Sydney called Miller. And Miller is part of Green Valley, and Green Valley is one of the Housing Commission areas. So public housing, for people that call it that, Housing Commission. So Mum and Dad were poor. There wasn't a lot of money. Mum made our clothes, she made our school uniforms, and I know that I didn't ever go on a holiday until I got married and left home. Actually, there wasn't any camping holidays or hotel holidays or any of those things because it just wasn't affordable. So I had a dream when I was a teenager that my life would be better, that I wouldn't grow up or continue to be in poverty as I had seen my family. And I decided that the way to do that was to go to work. So I did get accepted into university. I actually received a scholarship to every university in Australia and decided to take the teaching scholarship because that actually paid more than the others, and went to uni for a year. And then I decided that I wouldn't continue with uni, that I would go to work. So that's what I did, went to work, got married, and waited 11 years to have my first son because I wanted to build up an income and be able to buy a house. So at the age of 20 and Michael was 21, we were able to put a deposit down on a block of land. And we did that because I borrowed the deposit from the police credit union. I was working for the New South Wales Police Department as a public servant and loved my job most of the time. They did transfer me to the accounts branch for 2 years, and I was not happy doing the accounts. It was not my forte. But most of the time I worked in the Accident Information Bureau, and then I became a personal assistant to the inspectors of police and worked at various police stations with Nutriomedics and worked in at police headquarters, but not as a policewoman. Women have come a long way. There weren't any police women when I joined the public service. So we got the loan, and then Michael was able to get a loan from the Commonwealth Bank, and we were able to put the deposit on the block of land and build a house. So by the time I was 20 and Michael was 21, we were in our first house. By the time we were about, I think it was about probably, I was just about to turn 26 when I joined Nutriomedics. And that was because I happened to meet an amazing lady called Terry Jones. And Terry Jones was very successful in Nutriomedics. I met her at my girlfriend Michelle's Nutriomedics workshop. And Michelle and I saw each other last week and chatted about that. And Terry was driving a Nutriomedics Jaguar that she had won in a promotion for a year from Nutriomedics. So I was extremely impressed with this Nutriomedics Jaguar. And I have to say, Michael was extremely impressed too, because he drove me to the workshop and then went out with the boys to the Penrith Golf Club for a drink or two, possibly 3. And and had a great time. And one of the things that I actually learnt about Nutriomedics is when Mike dropped me off to Michelle's, he said, now don't book one of those silly parties. And I said to Mike, I have no intention of booking any of those silly parties. So you don't have to worry about that. And he said, and don't spend any money, because we had to be fairly tight with our finances. We had 2 mortgages. And so our money was really tied up in paying our mortgages and transport and going to work, etc. I didn't have a car at that stage. I used to drop Michael to the train station and he caught a train. And I worked at Campbelltown Police Station by that time. So we just shared a car there. And then I met Terry, and it took me 12 months to join Nutriomedics. And the reason I joined, and I just think it's so important, is that I was sent a Nutriomedics brochure. I got the specials brochure each month in the mail, and it had a commercial in there, said, positions vacant, are you looking for part-time work? So I actually rang up and said to a lovely girl called Jackie, because I had booked a workshop, by the way, and I did spend some money. So never believe any girls that say they're not going to book and they're not going to spend any money, because they could be like me and spend money and book a workshop and then decide a few months later to join. So Terry would book that many workshops. She had too many to do, and she would give away some of those workshops to her hotties, as we call them, the rising stars in her group. So Jackie came along to do my workshop, and I joined with Jackie, and Jackie was first level to Terry, so I was also part of Terry's group. So that's how my journey started. So just 2 weeks before my 26th birthday, I joined Nutriomedics. Now, I joined to earn an extra $50 a week. And I personally believe that still today, there are many girls that I could help who might just want to earn an extra $200 a month, $300 a month, $400 a month, $500 a month. I believe that by becoming a Nutriomedics consultant, a VIP, if you would like to work a little bit so that you get roughly $1,000 worth of orders a month, which you can do by showing the brochure around. You can do by sharing the links to the brochure with family, friends, relatives, work colleagues. At the time I was playing squash, so I took the brochures to the squash court. Everywhere I went, I left a brochure. So you can do that by sharing brochures. You can do that by doing 2 workshops a month. So I made a plan for myself that I would do 1 workshop a week. Now, did I know how to give anybody a facial? No, I didn't. I'd never even done anyone's hair. I'd never done anyone's hair. I'd never touched anyone's skin. I had no experience in the beauty industry. My background was I was a tomboy and I loved reading books. And I'd never read a book on beauty or how to apply makeup or on business or anything like that in my life. So I had no idea what I was doing. And just to be even funnier with this story, Vicky Reeves, so Terry's daughter, she rang me one day and she said, Louise, I have a workshop to give away. We called them always a get together to give away. And it's a vitamin workshop, vitamin get together. And I said, Vicky, I have no idea about the Nutrimetics vitamins. And she said, that's okay. Just show the brochure to the girls, read a few things that are in the catalogue about the vitamins, and just take their orders at the end. I said, okay, well, that doesn't sound very hard. Oh, my goodness. The questions they asked me, I had no idea about. And anyway, what she did was it's a bit like learning to swim. She threw me in the pool or the ocean and I just started swimming. Okay, no idea how to do it, but I did quickly learn. And I did go to a training. It wasn't run by Terry or Vicky. It was run by one of Vicky's managers called Barbara Lockhart, and she lived 10 minutes away from me. So I went to her training every week. So that's how I got started. So I do actually believe that it is a good idea to just throw people in the swimming pool if they can't swim. It is a good idea to throw people just straight into workshops if they don't know what they're doing. But it does depend on their personality. And it's probably an even better idea to teach them what to do or to go along with them and help them. But in the good old days, no one came along with you and helped you do a workshop. You just went and sorted it out for yourself. Now we handhold everyone, but that's okay. I do like anyone who is serious about earning some extra money with Nutrimetics. I like to offer to do at least 4 workshops with them. So I'm happy to do 1 a week or 2 a month, 2 this month and 2 next month, help them earn all of their rewards, help them see some money, teach them what to do, provided they are willing to go online or come in person to some trainings. I'm not going to do all the work for somebody who is not going to help themselves by learning a little bit more about the business. Does that sound like a fairly fair deal to all of you? Yeah, so I do expect that they will start practicing some facials. I expect that they will start learning at least how to put on a little bit of makeup themselves. And my idea of makeup when I started was my blue eyeshadow, my black mascara, and my brown lipstick. Now, I still think that's a good look. However, all of the color consultants would tell me it's a little bit of a clash, but that's okay. I'm here to tell you, you can become a presidential director, and that the brown lipstick, well, I had, at the time we had Beauty Veil, and I used to wear, it was called Dark Rochelle. I think it was called Dark Rochelle Beauty Veil. And Terry just explained to me that that is what everybody suits that color. So everyone for about the next 4 years got Dark Rochelle Beauty Veil. Everyone, she taught me how to do just a lovely natural eyeshadow, which is pretty well what I still do now, 43 years later. And so I do a natural sort of color in the crease. I do a little bit of natural on the eyelid. I do love Adam's idea where you now do an inner shimmer. And what I love about it when I explain to everyone, it doesn't matter whether you are a teenager or in your 80s, that some inner shimmer just in there is going to add extra interest for everyone. And I totally agree with that. But I do not like shimmer on any lines, wrinkles, or any areas that you don't want to accentuate. So that is my full lesson on makeup and color for tonight. So I got started, and I believe that you can build $1 million business just by getting 4 workshops, 4 get-togethers in your diary. So I asked 6 friends. The other thing that I believe is that you ask 6 friends to have a get-together for you. Now, if they won't have a get-together for you, then I am going to ask you, are they a friend? Are they a friend or are they an acquaintance? So have some friends who will help you out. Have some relatives who would help you out. So my gorgeous sister-in-law, so Michael's youngest sister, I did ask his older sister and she said no. So she was obviously not a friend. And his younger sister has always said yes to me. And I remember asking her again for a workshop when Rick was born, and I wanted some more work in my diary, and she said, do I have to? And I said, yes, you have to. And then at the end of the workshop, it was a really good one. She had 12 girls from Westpac Bank there. She was the branch manager, so she told them all they had to come. And I got 11 bookings that night, sold over $1,000, and gave Renata lots of free things. And at the end, she said, when do I have to have the next one? So that's what you want to do. And that is one of the lessons I'd love you to learn tonight. And that is during your workshop, make them want to have another one with you because it's so much fun. They get some freebies, they have a laugh, their friends enjoy themselves, and it's a chance for the girls to have a girls' night in. They had a glass of wine, they got to try some skincare and makeup, and it was fun. I certainly was taught by Terry that you never did everyone's face. You only had the model, and then everyone else was passed products around and could try it, or they could go to the bathroom and try it. So there are a few lessons that I took away. Another lesson that I took away from joining is that Terry never asked me to join. And my girlfriend, Michelle, who hosted the workshop, she never asked Michelle to join. And when I asked Michelle to have a workshop for me to help me get started, she said, Louise, what I'd really love to do is join Nutrimedics. Ever since Terry did that workshop at my place, I've been wondering how I could join. So if you ever wondered why I am so passionate about sponsoring, that is the reason. Now, whether Terry didn't ask me because I didn't look the part, which is quite possible because I wore a skirt and a blouse to work because that's what you did in the day. And I probably wore, if it was winter or cold, I would have worn my jeans and my black velour sloppy Joe. That was my favorite item of clothing. Now, if I put black against my skin, it ages me. So I probably looked older than my 25 years old when I met her, and I certainly wasn't wearing my right colors. However, I did own a pair. I'm talking the early 1980s. I did own a pair of bright orange stretched slacks. Okay. They were very on trend in the late 70s and the early 80s. So I'm on trend again because I've got my bright orange on again. So got started. I am happy to report I earned my $50 a week, which was my goal. So what I'd like to do now is I want to start with two things. First, I want to set the mood a little bit. And I love watching all of the little things on Instagram that tell you all this great stuff. So I shared a little message, and I'll just see if I can find it here. Rebecca Gal has said so special. Let's see if I can find it. I'll share the one that Rebecca Gal shared with me first. So Beck Gal is one of Adam's executive sales managers in her team. Beck is early 30s and she has two children. Emily is 5 and Elizabeth is Elizabeth 8 or 9, Adam? About that age. So this is a real story. Emily, 7 hours ago. Mum, did you know that I have an invisible bucket? Rebecca, do you? Tell me about your invisible bucket. Emily, well, it's my bucket that holds all my sweetness and kindness. And Mum, guess what? Sometimes people add kindness into my bucket, but sometimes I need to put the lid on it so no one can put rubbish in my bucket. Because, Mum, sometimes people get confused. Rebecca, slightly dumbfounded. Emily, and did you know that you have this is to her mother. Did you know that you have an invisible bucket too? And that, my friends, is the deepest kind of intuition and intelligence coming out of the mouth of a 5-year-old with a depth beyond comprehensible even to her. She is the piece of heaven that my tired body and soul desperately needed today. This is your reminder to protect your invisible bucket. So those kind of messages just touch my heart and remind me that we each have a $10 million body. And this was taught to me fairly early in my nutriomedics career by an amazing motivational speaker called Dr. Dennis Waitley. And I used to listen to all of his tapes. And Dr. Dennis Waitley said, if somebody wanted to buy your arm, how much would you sell your arm for? Let's say you'd sell your arm for $2 million. If someone wanted to buy your leg, how much would you sell a leg for? Let's say you'd sell a leg for $2 million. If someone wanted to buy another arm, another $2 million. If someone wanted to buy your foot, how much would you sell your foot for? And if someone wanted to buy your head, how much would you sell your head for? So he basically said, none of us would sell any of those things for probably $10 million. So you have a $10 million body. So treat it like a $10 million body. Half the time we treat other things better than we actually treat ourselves. And the other question that Dr. Dennis Waitley would ask is, would you allow someone to dump a truck full of rubbish into your lounge room? Would anyone here allow anyone to dump a truck full of rubbish into their lounge room? No. His question is then, how many how many of you allow other people to dump rubbish into your brain? Okay. So it sort of ties in with Rebecca and Emily's story, is that put a lid on the bucket and don't allow people to dump rubbish into your bucket, and don't allow people to dump rubbish into your brain. Now, the way that I do that, and my personal way that I learned along my Nutrimedics journey, was to read books, like all of the books by Andrew Matthews. He's an Australian author. You can buy his books online. You can buy them. You can buy the secondhand ones. I think this was even a secondhand one, a lot cheaper. And he was a cartoonist, so it's got a lot of cartoons in there. Is there anyone online that's not really much of a reader, but will read a cartoon, or will read something if it's got big writing and pictures in it? Okay, all right. That would describe my two sons. Doesn't necessarily describe me, but it would describe my two sons. And I loved his book called Being Happy, and he teaches you how to be happy. He teaches you to follow your heart. He teaches you, one book is called Making Friends. And if you're not really good at establishing relationships, then read Making Friends, because it will teach you how to do that. A few things that is, I like some of these. It's by Mark Twain. He says, doing what you love. So this is what Andrew Matthews says. And the quote from Mark Twain is, don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. He says there are two themes to this chapter. You choose your attitude is number one. If you want to, you can enjoy almost any job. And two, if you work at something you love, you'll be happier, you'll be more likely to succeed, and you'll probably make more money. So follow your heart. Perfect jobs, he said, that really, and nurses think doctors have it easy. Salespeople think sales managers have it easy. Everyone thinks politicians have it easy. Nothing changes. Eventually, we discover there are no perfect jobs. Why? Because people only pay us to do things they can't or don't want to do. If there were no problems to solve, our job wouldn't exist. If you don't like your work, you have two options: change your attitude or change your job. So what he does is he asks the difficult questions. Something here he says, strengthening your mind is like strengthening your body. If you do 20 push-ups and then race over to the mirror, you won't see any difference. Similarly, if you think positive for 24 hours, you probably won't see very much difference. But discipline your thinking for a few months and you will see big changes in your life. Cleaning up our thinking is a lifelong work. It is huge. It's made even harder because often we don't even know we are being negative when we are being negative. If you want to check your thinking, check your life. Your prosperity, your happiness, the qualities of your relationships, and even of your health are a reflection of your most common conscious thoughts. In a nutshell, I think like I do because my life is a mess. No, Fred, your life is a mess because you think like you do. So he basically doesn't take any excuses. He said, any conscious thought repeated over a period of time becomes a program. For instance, if you think all the time, I'm always broke, you develop an automatic program where you don't have to think. You can make yourself broke without any conscious effort. How does this fit in with positive thinking? Simple. we have about 50,000 thoughts a day. For most of us, they are mainly negative thoughts. I'm getting fat. I've got a bad memory. I can't pay my bills. Nothing I do ever works. With mostly negative thoughts, what kind of subconscious behavior do we get? Mostly negative behavior, which sabotages our life and our health without even thinking. People wonder why they end up broken, miserable, yet they have created their own automatic patterns through their repetitive thoughts. In the same way that we program ourselves to drive a car without thinking, we can program ourselves to be late, miserable, or send ourselves broke without thinking. And then we blame everyone else. Now, here's what's exciting. When you understand about subconscious patterns, you realize that no one has to be a loser. Your future depends on your conscious thought. As you begin to discipline your mind, your new conscious thoughts create subconscious programs. In the same way you can develop subconscious behavior to drive a car, you can develop subconscious behavior to be more successful. But it takes disciplined thinking and time. Now take Fred, who attends a motivational seminar and goes on the positive thinking kick. Fred says, I'm going to turn my life around. He writes a few goals before breakfast. Get promoted, get a Rolls Royce, buy the Taj Mahal, and then spends the rest of the week in his usual negative spiral. By Friday, he says, I don't think this positive thinking stuff is working. He has moved from 48,000 negative thoughts per day to 47,500 and can't believe he hasn't won the lottery, cured his arthritis, and quit fighting with his wife. Being positive for one day won't do it. Strengthening your mind is like strengthening your body. If you do 20 push-ups and the race to the mirror, you won't see any difference. You've got to check your life, your prosperity, your happiness, the quality of your relationships, and even your health are a reflection of your most common conscious thoughts. So life is not a mess because of other people. Your life is only a mess because of you and your thoughts. So I want you to challenge yourself to appreciate everything in your life. And it's very, very hard to think negative thoughts when you're being grateful for what you have. So I wanted to just tell you, I told you how I grew up and where I lived when I went to primary school and to high school. Now, let me tell you what happened 18 months after joining Nutriomedics. I received my first car. And 2 months later, I received my first trip overseas to Nutriomedics, with Nutriomedics to Singapore, to the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore, which at the time was voted the 3rd best hotel in the world. And that's where Nutriomedics took us. It was incredible. So that was 18 and 20 months after joining. Approximately 2 years after joining, I became a regional director, which is now called a sales director. And I was able to choose another car, a new car. So I gave back my Toyota. I had a Toyota Corona station wagon. Oh, I was so excited about that car. And it was air conditioned. Then my next car was a Toyota Celica 2-door sports car. I loved that car. At that time, we only kept our cars for 2 years. And 2 years later, I was called a senior regional director, which is the same as, say, an executive sales director, presidential director in Nutriomedics. So that was 3 years and 11 months after I joined Nutriomedics. By that time, I had resigned from my full-time job that I'd been working at for 9 years, and I was working my Nutriomedics business full-time. The day that I was appointed a senior regional director, the top level in the company, I received, at that time, you could choose 2 Nutromedics cars. So I remember I got a Honda Accord and a Toyota. It was this little sports car that went super fast. Rick would know what it was. Do you remember, Adam? It was a Toyota, a little
Celica.
No, it wasn't the Celica for Mike. It was this little RX something or other turbocharged Toyota. Anyway, he loved it and it went fast.
Yes, the MR2.
MR2, that's what it was called. Thank you. And so we had 2 company cars, and I said goodbye to the 2-door Celica because by then I had a baby. Trying to get the baby in the back of a 2-seater car would not have been fun. So around about that time, we bought our first investment property. And by this time I was 29. And we also upgraded our house as well. We bought a more expensive house. So let's fast forward a few years. I have a beautiful, beautiful home. I should put the lights on a little bit more. You might see a little bit more. Oh, that's so much better. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's absolutely beautiful. And I also have 2 investment properties. I drive my Mercedes. I've been overseas with Nutromedics approximately 50 times. I had the privilege of going last year to Madrid, gone to Croatia with Nutromedics. I've gone to Egypt and to Israel and to London, and on the Queen Elizabeth II from London to New York, been to New York to Mexico, just about so many countries around the world. And so many of you that are online tonight, I have traveled the world with as well. And what a privilege that is, because I love going mostly away with all of you because it's always so much fun. And then, of course, I've earned 2 tickets to Bali, which is very, very exciting. And so I have a totally different life to the one that I was brought up with. And I wanted to share with you that was because I met this lovely lady from Nutromedics that created a picture of a life that I could build and I could choose my path in this life. I really feel that Nutromedics gives you that opportunity to change your world and to be such an incredible role model to other men and women. So that's what's happened since I joined Nutromedics. So when I started, I always had these dreams, but Nutromedics taught me to set goals. So I'm going to ask Adam, and I sent this to him this afternoon, to put the Nutromedics business profile sheet that I often use when people come to a meeting or they would like a one-on-one appointment with me. So with this Nutromedics business profile, I would like you all to help me here and to write down, first of all, your name and your upline executive sales manager or sales director, please. I'd like you to write down your partner or husband's name, if you have one, and the children's, just their first name and their ages, and then your title with Nutromedics. It could be, your title might be that you're a consultant. It might be that you're a sales director. It might be, I don't know, but just write that down for me. Then I'd like you to write down just 2, 3, 4, 5 goals, plans, or dreams. They can be short-term or long-term or medium-term goals. And you can call them goals, you can call them strategies, you can call them plans, whatever word resonates with you. So if it's something that you seriously want to achieve, one of my goals this year, and it's my goal every single year, is on the 1st of February, which is today. Oh my goodness. Nutrimedics start the qualification to achieve the Nutrimedics overseas trip. That trip will be held in September, and we are all in qualification right now. Now, if you want to work out your target, I can tell you now it is approximately whatever group sales you did February, March, April, May, and June last year, plus I'd say the maximum would be plus 10%. So just write plus 10% and go for that. And in the next few days, we will receive our actual target. Now, if you are a new consultant, like I was when I first started, your target is to become an executive sales manager and to do it straight away. So there are many people in our teams that are group leaders, senior group leaders, sales managers. They could decide to step up in February and you would sit down and do a plan with them. If you're not sure of how to do that plan, then talk to your upline sales director or give me a call and I will talk to you about how to do that plan. But basically that plan would be to have group sales of $15,000 for February and for March, and for April and for May and for June. That would be basically the plan. Now, the first opportunity that I had to achieve overseas seminar, I didn't make it. So my advice to everyone is if that's what you really want, have a go for it, because that will set you up for the next trip that comes up. And the next trip that comes up, the qualification will be September, October, November, December, January. So the time to get organized for that is February, March, April, May, and June. So worst case scenario, you might not earn this trip, but you might earn the next trip. But you will earn some more money and you will have grown your business in attempting to do it, because that's what happened to me. And then the second time I went for a trip, I earned it for both Michael and I. So that was great, because he certainly did not want to be left behind. He loved every trip. So set your goal. It can be a trip. It can be a family holiday. One of my goals was to have a swimming pool. One of my goals for this house that I bought off the plan, basically 5.5 years ago, was I didn't know if I wanted a swimming pool, because I love looking at the pool. I love reading by the pool. I love sitting on the sun lounge by the pool, but I don't actually often get in the pool. But my granddaughter, Charlie, she's now 16. So 5 years ago, she was 11. And I asked her if she was going to come to the Sunshine Coast to see me in my new house. And 11 years old. And I was asking a serious question, thinking that I would get a yes answer. But anyone that knows grandchildren who are 11 years old will know that you don't always get the answer you expect from a granddaughter. So she looks at me with her long blonde hair and her big blue eyes, drop dead gorgeous, and says, "Well, Grandma, that depends." I said, "Charlie, what does it depend on?" she says, do you have a pool? And I said, well, I haven't actually decided yet, Charlie, because I'm just organizing the house. And I said, will you come if I don't have a pool? She looks at me with the big blue eyes, the long blonde hair, says, no. So I had the shits big time with her, let me tell you. Here's my granddaughter. She's not going to come and visit me if I haven't got a pool. So I turned to Kobe, her brother, who is about 14 months younger, and said, Kobe, will you come and visit Grandma, even if I don't have a swimming pool? He said, yes, Grandma, I will come and visit you. So immediately, Kobe went to the favorite grandson, the favorite grandchild, and all of the jewelry that I decided to leave to Charlie was now going to Kobe, whether she liked it or not. Anyway, short, what happened is I spent an extra $50,000 to buy my house so that it came with a pool so that my granddaughter would visit me. And I am so glad that I got the pool. So that was good. It just took doing a few more workshops. So what do you want to achieve? What is going to motivate you? So definitely getting the swimming pool motivated me. Next question, what level would you like to achieve with Nutrimetics by the end of the year? And I have written down on this, group leader, senior group leader. Well, instead of ESL, it's now sales manager, executive sales manager, sales director, executive sales director. Adam has asked Nutrimetics management for a sprint run to presidential director. He hasn't received a reply to his question yet, but I'm sure he will follow it up at conference. Okay. What level would you like to achieve by the end of next year? So by the end of 2025, what level do you want to be in Nutrimetics? And anyone that would like to pop that on the chat, I would love to know, please. The more you tell people, the more you put it out there, the more the subconscious brain works on achieving it. So I'm also going to challenge you to ring your upline person. So I can see Mimi Cabone on my screen. So Mimi, your upline person is Deanna Perza. Would you please send her a message of what level you would like to be by the end of 2025? Marina Baxter, you can send that to me, please, personally. That will be great. And I'll let you know whether I approve or I may decide to upgrade your goal a little bit for you if I'm not keen on it. Okay. Actually, the saying that I was going to try and find was, be grateful if you have someone in your life that pushes you to be the best version of yourself and to become more than you think you can be. Thanks, Mimi, because I am happy to do that for you. And I don't know if my children and my team are happy to do it, but I do it to them often because I really don't care if they're happy about it or not. Okay. What is your number one reason for doing Nutrimetics? I want you to fall in love with sponsoring. I have a mission. I joined to earn an extra $50 a week to help me to become more financially set up for my life because we were struggling a little bit because we'd overcommitted on our mortgage. I totally encourage you to overcommit, bite off more than you can chew. And then there's a saying, bite off more than you can chew and then chew like hell. Okay. So bite off more than you can chew. So that's what we did. And I got myself a little part-time job, one of the best decisions that I ever made. So my number one reason for doing Nutrimetics is to help other women and men become financially better off in their life, to give them the freedom and the choices to travel overseas, to have a safe car. Okay. Helen Lawson, your lovely Joanne is a consultant and would like to become a group leader and a manager. So that is wonderful. So, so good. All right. So what is your number one? Mine is to help other people become financially secure, because I find that the biggest problems in marriages, partnerships, the stress is if you can't pay your bills. So I find I'm better off working, because if I work on a weekend, then I don't go to David Jones. So it is really, really good idea if I don't go to David Jones, because then I usually find a dress that I have to have. But I don't really have to have it because I don't need it. Okay. If you're all invited to come up and look at my wardrobe, and I promise you I don't need any more dresses. How many parties, facials, get-togethers, masterclasses are you prepared to hold per week? Write it down for me. What are you prepared to hold in February? What are you prepared to hold in March? Now, I just love the fact that my friend Hilary Finch, she advertises each month on her on a community group that is in the area that she lives in, for 15 people to volunteer to be a model for a facial treatment with her. And all she asks for them is that they will answer the survey questions. Now, Adam did send me a survey sheet, so perhaps he could put it on the Creating a Bright Future, and you can improve that survey sheet. You can change it to suit your personality or what you're looking for. Okay, Karen Reed, your upline is Nicole Carstairs, and you'd like to be a group leader. You'd love to earn enough not to worry about tax. Love to try and support as many people as possible. Karen, I love your goals. And Nicole is incredible, what she has achieved in such a short time. So grateful to have her in the Adam Buechner team. Right. So how many consultants do you wish to sponsor each month? Now, I'm going to let you know that if you would like to earn a trip overseas, then a minimum number of sponsors each month is 10. But what I'd really like is 20. But I won't scare you with 20. I might not even scare you with 10. I would like everyone to imagine that they're a new consultant and they're going for those first 4 rewards that Nutrimedics offer when you're brand new. And just go and sponsor 4 people, because when you do that and grow your business, you can buy 4 extra products for your kit. You can buy 4 extra products for yourself because you'll be able to afford it. I can tell you now that the first 6 months I was with Nutrimedics, yes, I earned my $50 a week, but I didn't put that in the bank. What I did was invest it back into my business. So everything I earned each month for those first 6 months, I invested by getting some more products for my kit, by investing in myself with books like The Winner's Bible, You, Be Resilient and Thrive. I love that. Okay. It says, forgive your failures. You can treat them as disappointments or as lessons. It's up to you. As disappointments, they're a dead end. As lessons, they are a positive experience. They lead to improvement and renewed effort. A good failure is just a stepping stone to success. And Abraham Lincoln said, I don't think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. I think Marina and I are still working on that one. Love you, Marina. So how many consultants do you wish to sponsor each month? Now, I gave a challenge to a lovely girl in my team. Her name is Wendy Barrett. And if you come to conference in 2 weeks' time, you will see Wendy. Wendy is a senior group leader. She became an executive sales manager last year. And then she went on a beautiful trip all around Australia for about, it seemed like 4 months. I'm sure it was a bit shorter. And so then she stepped back from executive sales manager, and then she's going to become an executive sales manager again this year. So I gave her a goal because there are high performance awards with Nutrimetics are going to be given to people at conference. And I gave Wendy a goal to win the first place in sponsoring. So I can't remember how many people Wendy sponsored in December. I think there was a lot going on, but I gave her a goal in January. And for January, I think Wendy sponsored over 80 people personally in January. 80 people as a senior group leader. I would say that Wendy is very serious about stepping up to the next level in Nutrimetics this year. Would you agree with that? Okay. So I asked Wendy to sponsor everyone she knew, even if she'd sponsored them last year or the year before, to sponsor them again. And she said what she learned about it, because she did ring all the people personally and ask them to join free. A few people said, oh, I've run out of my Nutrimetics and I bought some other brand at the chemist or at the department store or at the supermarket, and really it's not doing anything for my skin. So I need to get back to Nutrimetics and buy some Nutrimetics. She got great response and hardly anyone said no to joining. So yeah, congratulations, Wendy. You're amazing. And so Wendy has 3 people coming with her to conference as well. Now, I know that conference is full, but if you find someone in the next 2 days, ring up your regional state manager, the corporate girls, and tell them that you've found someone else who wants to come. They might shoot me, but that's okay. All right. So I want you to write all those goals, and I want you to write your sponsoring goal. I want you to write down how many hours per week are you prepared to work in your Nutrimetics business? How many hours? And map out your time finder sheet. Are you prepared to work an hour or 2 on a Monday night? If you work full-time, obviously you're full-time Monday to Friday. However, I must say that when I started doing Nutrimetics part-time, I got up an hour earlier. I would put all of our food in the slow cooker, and by the time I came home, dinner was ready. So I was prepared to do more than I did before. Okay, and if you're on today and you haven't made a decision to come to conference and you decide tonight that you want to go, then please ask your sales director or executive sales director or presidential director to get you a ticket. Because there will be some people who can't make it, so we'll just replace them with someone else. So what I'd like to do now is that business profile is basically the start of a one-on-one appointment, and it's a very good way to give you some information before you do a one-on-one appointment. So I'd like to just, in the next few minutes, share 2 things with you. One is, when I worked for the New South Wales Police Department, I had a job description. At the time, it was called a statement of duties. The regular term today is a job description. And that job description said what my job was to be. So I devised my own job description for Nutrimedics, and I have a job description for all of you. And it doesn't matter whether you are a presidential director or a brand new consultant, the job description is the same. The first thing on your job description list is to book facials and workshops, get-togethers. And you decide how many you want to book. But I suggest, like Hilary Finch, you find 15 faces to do a facial on during a month. And I know that that's where Hilary gets all of her new sponsoring from for the month. Imagine if you sponsored 10 out of the 15 people, and they're all new people that live in your community that you haven't met before. How great is that? And I just think that the economic times at the moment are definitely tough, and there has to be some girls and guys out there who would like to earn some extra money. And that might be just to pay for the grocery bill. It might be just to buy their own products at wholesale prices, which is what becoming a VIP or consultant gives you, is your 20% discount less GST. With the specials on, that is an incredible price that we get our skincare, our makeup, our cleaning products for. So number one is to book and find yourself a strategy for booking. You can phone friends, you can text friends, you can send them a personal Facebook message, you can email people, you can use social media, you can go through your phone and find everyone in your phone. And if you're not game to pick up the phone and ring them, send them all a text. And you decide, you can book them into February, but you can also book them into March and April and May. You could have your diary filled. Now, I know Adam Buechner is online, and Adam's diary is full and filled with bookings until, I'm not sure if it's the middle of August or the end of August. Who wants a diary that full? Now, mind you, he did have a board meeting with himself, and he did approve quite a lot of holidays. There's a holiday to Lord Howe Island. There is a holiday to Bali. There is a holiday in September to wherever the Nutrimedics trip is. There is a working holiday plus holiday to New Zealand. I think there's 2 of those. I think there's a holiday to Queenstown in August to go skiing. And I think it's Gay Ski Week that week. So anyone that wants to go along, I'm inviting you to Adam's holiday. I already invited some of his friends. That I didn't tell him I was inviting his friends, but I did. And I don't know what other holidays he's got, but there'll be some holiday. I know he's taking me to Hawaii in June. On the 4th of June, we leave for Hawaii. That was my birthday present and Christmas present. How many of you would like to have a son in Nutrimedics become an executive sales director and take you to Hawaii? I think I'm challenging you all to do that if you have a son. A daughter will do. Okay, so number 1 is booking. Number 2 is your time management. I want to know how many hours a week are you going to work? When is your time off? And are you actually going to work the hours that you set down? And if you don't know what to do, then please ring your executive sales manager or your sales director, and they will give you a list and they'll tell you what to do. And if you've done everything on their list and they can't think of anything, they can ring me and I'll give you another 100 jobs to do. Just ask Adam or Rick. They'll tell you I'm good at that. Okay. So that's number 2 is your time finder. Work out when you're going to start work each day, when you're going to finish. how many hours are you going to spend on Netflix? And are you willing to spend most of those hours on building your business or building your brain rather than watching Netflix? You can watch Netflix in 5 years' time when you've made your fortune, because you do have to make sacrifices. So Time Finder is the next, and I actually go through that in great detail with the bookings. And where Adam has his success is he makes them get the bookings when they're sitting next to him. He will help them send the text messages. He will help them do the personal Facebook messages. He will go through their Facebook, as he did with a beautiful girl, Alicia, on Monday, and tell her who her friends are and tell her to message them and sit next to her while she messages them. Like, go that extra mile for your team. Number 3 in the coaching appointment is then I go through the prospect list. So yes, I want you to book, but I go through your whole prospect list. If you were having your 21st birthday, who would you invite? If you were having your 50th birthday, who would you invite? And we just ask all those people. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. I'm a big believer. When I was going skiing down at Perisher, they would have signs up on the mountains. No guts, no glory. No pain, no gain. You want to be really good at this business? Nutrimatics is just like being an elite sports person. It's like being a first grade footballer. You have to train. You have to have the mental attitude. It's like being a first grade tennis player. How amazing is that young 22-year-old who just won the Australian Open in tennis? Yannick Sinner. Down, lost his first 2 sets, came back and won the Australian Open in the finals. What sort of courage did that take? What sort of guts did that take? What sort of practice did that take? And he had the courage to sack his whole coaching and support team 2 years ago because he lost in the quarterfinals 2 years ago in the Australian Open. He sacked them all and got himself a new coach. Now, if you're coaching yourself and you need sacking, sack yourself and have a talk to yourself and get a new coach, or ask your upline to make you accountable. Now, that's what I call guts. Sacking your damn coach and getting a new team, and then you win the Australian Open. Did he make the right choices? Yes, he did. And picked an Australian to do it. We have some of the best coaches in the world in every aspect of sport. Are you prepared to make the sort of sacrifices that a footballer or a gymnast or a dancer or an actor will make, because they make a lot of sacrifices to become great? I always think of Keith Urban. Keith Urban played in the pubs in Queensland, often to one person or to a whole bunch of drunks at the bar while he was playing and learning his craft for 10 years. Keith was broke. And have a look at his life now. That's the type of dedication it takes to break through in a career. Now, it's not going to take you 10 years in Nutrimatics unless your time finder says you're going to work 5 minutes a week. Okay? So do your time finder. The next thing that I have on my coaching list is diary dates. What are you prepared to go to? And what are you prepared to learn and to listen to? I paid hundreds and thousands of dollars to go and see the top trainers in Australia to learn how to be great at sales, how to be a great leader and how to be great at business. Today, you can watch it all online free, or you can join Audible, which Adam helped me join. And I recently drove down to Kayanga in New South Wales, which is 5 hours south of Sydney. And I even know how to go to the library. Oh my gosh, I'm so amazing. I'm a Gen Y in training. And so I've been listening to Mind Over Muscle by Ant Middleton. If you want to learn how to overcome all obstacles and be bulletproof to any disappointments, then you need to listen to Mind Over Muscle. Now, he didn't release that as a book. He only released it in Audible. So I've been listening to Ant Middleton. He's the SAS guy that was on TV that so many of us watched. And I fully finished the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. What an incredible, incredible book that was. And that went for lots of hours. Next, I will listen to The Diary of a CEO, How to Become a People Magnet. Another Ant Middleton book, Mission Total Confidence. Another one, Ant Middleton, Mission Total Resilience. And so many others that I've got there. I love them all. I believe you need to train your mind. And you do that by listening to some of the great people. Okay, so diary dates, what can you come to? What can you listen to? What trainings can you jump onto? And congrats to all of you for jumping on tonight. Really, really appreciate it. And it shows me that you are serious about your business. And I know lots of people will watch the recording as well. Okay. So I do diary dates. Then the next part of my coaching, a one-on-one appointment with you would be learning leadership skills, which is basically what I just went through here, because I learned the leadership skills by listening to the books, reading something every day or listening to something every day. And I love 2 podcasts. One is called The Business Of, and it's got a picture of a mountain. Adam, can you show them the tattoo on your arm that's a mountain? Okay, that's exactly the symbol that they've got, except it's got the pointy end up the top for The Business Of. And that is run by Annette French. She's a presidential director in Brisbane, her grandson. Okay, so Will and his best friend Charlie, they run that. They interview incredible business people and leaders, and I learn what they've done and what their strategies are every time I listen to that. I just absolutely love it. And the other one that I listen to is by a very good friend of mine, Alan Sicard. And Alan's is called The Courage to Lead. And what he does is, from these great people that he interviews, is he grabs all of their leadership strategies and skills from them to teach us how to be a great leader. And then I ask and set down the action steps that that person would like to take. And then I follow them up and see how they've gone in 3 days' time, 7 days' time, and they either ring me or I ring them. And I practice chessboard management. Chessboard management is, if you say you're going to do something, and I believe that you've set a realistic goal of doing it and you don't do it. For example, it might be watching a training session watching one of the things that Nutrimetics releases, one of their events. And if you don't do it, I would then ask you to watch the recording. I'd follow you up if you haven't watched the recording. You've got 1 strike and you're out, 2 strikes and you're out, 3 strikes and you're gone, gone, gone. Okay? So I want you all to treat your time as valuable. And if your consultants don't treat your time as valuable, find consultants that do. Or they can go onto my training. They can do everything, but no more one-on-one appointments until they've done what they said they're going to do. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, Adam probably gives them about 8 times. He gives them 8, but I don't have time for that. I'm 69. Like, seriously? Come on, let's do it. We've got to get onto it. Okay. Debbie's saying she listens to the audibles in the car and the bath and while doing her housework. My gorgeous Wendy listens to, she has a part-time cleaning business, so she listens to them while she's cleaning the people's houses. So I think that's fantastic. They are paying her to get a workout. They're paying her to vacuum clean and do everything, and they're paying her to listen to the leadership strategies that she's learning. How great, how intelligent is that? That's good. So I think that that's fantastic. So I think one of the most important things that a lot of coaches don't do is if we talk about getting work in the diary, we don't follow up that our people in our team have actually made some progress in that. And if they haven't made any progress, because I do know there are some girls who have said, yes, I've asked 10 friends to have a free facial, and 10 friends have said no. And then when we found out how she asked the 10 friends, she didn't ring them. She either sent them a generic text or she sent them an email. Okay? So you've got to pick up the phone, or you've got to go and see people. It's about people and building relationships. And this business depends less on your beauty skills and more on your people skills. And your people skills, I would like you to end is to have a checkup from the neck up. So when I go to do a facial or a makeup or a workshop or go to a training, I make sure that I do my hair. I make sure I do my makeup. I make sure I'm wearing something that suits me. Don't always get that right, but I try. Make sure that there's either no nail polish or that the nail polish is not chipped. Thank goodness shellac nail polish came in. Otherwise, I'd fail that every day. Check that you would book a workshop or a facial with you. Would you book with you? Now, I've got Lynn O'Hara on my screen. I would book anything with Lynn anytime because she makes me laugh. Now, I'm not a comedian. I'm more of a trainer. I'm more of a teacher. But Terry Jones taught me some lines, and I said them. I thought, oh, I could never say that. One of her lines was, when you use a scrub, or say you were taking off the AHA, you do it like 2 porcupines making love, very gently. Okay. And seriously, I was 26 years old. I said, I can't say that. But I had to make the people laugh. So I said it that often that I thought I made it up myself. So steal every good idea that you can and choose mentors that are successful in this business. You learn the most from the people who have the job that you would like to have. That's what I would love you to do. All right. So that is my coaching appointment for somebody that I am helping to develop. they've got to want it as badly as I want it for them. I believe that you have to believe more in the people in your team than they disbelieve in themselves. Because I think when we all start, we don't have the huge level of confidence that I would like you to develop, because it is your confidence that will really make you great in this business. If you think you are good at this, or you're becoming good at this, if you think that you would book with you, others will book with you. If you think that no one will ever book with you, then guess what? No one's going to book with you. Okay? So develop your sense of humor, become bulletproof. You know, you can throw sticks and stones at me and it's going to bounce off me, because your opinion of me is none of my business. We all can choose. We can choose how February is going to be. We can choose how March is going to be. We can choose where we're going to be at the end of this year, and it will depend on your attitude and your work ethic. And so many great philosophers and business people will tell you that talent is not the most important part of somebody's makeup to develop success. You don't have to be talented to win the Australian Open. You have to be disciplined. You have to really want it with a fire in your belly. You have to want it more than you've ever wanted anything else. You have to have that burning passion that you have when you first fall in love. Who's ever fallen in love that's on this video or Zoom tonight? Wonderful. Okay. Did you have a burning passion? A burning passion. Bing can't remember if she had a burning passion. Now, I saw her with Buzz. She had a burning passion. Haven't met John yet, but bring him to conference, Lynn, and I'll meet him. Okay. All right. Joanne met someone that she fell in love with 42 years ago. Good on you, Joanne. Okay. So have that burning passion for your Nutriomedics small business. My business turned over between $5 and $6 million last year. My goal is between $6 to $7 million this year. We are on a growth path. Greece is going through all of the processes at the moment to be released so that we can sponsor in Greece. Now, I don't know, the only people I know in Greece are already with Nutriomedics, and that's probably Rebecca and Bill Panopoulos, who are running it, but I will have people in my team downline. I will have friends that have people that they know in Greece, and I am hoping that someone in my team will step up and say, I want to sponsor in Greece. You don't have to do it personally. You have to find people that want it and have the contacts themselves. We're open in New Zealand, it's the same. I can see over the shorter term rather than the longer term that we will open in Africa and that we will open in Korea. I can see that we will open in the United Kingdom. And I can see that every country that New Image is currently in will get open to Nutriomedics. My sister-in-law is from the Philippines. I've booked a trip to the Philippines in January 2025 to go with them and meet all of her relatives. Now, I booked it before I even knew that there's a strong possibility we will open up in the Philippines. So that we all know somebody, or somebody in our team knows somebody that could create an overseas business. That is what is going to take your business to the next level, plus finding all of the people in your own backyard, the people in your state, the people interstate, the people all around the country. What is going to be your major method of building your business? For me, it was booking, sponsoring, and selling, and seeing people personally. Canada, I definitely, Nutrimetics was in Canada. I think it's a possibility, but don't know that it will happen before Africa and Asia. But I do believe that United Kingdom is not far away, because I know that that is very much on their radar, very much. So I hope you have enjoyed building some strategies. I'd like your strategies to be having a booking strategy. Choose the Hillary Finch method, which she totally stole off Adam Buechner, as she would tell you, but developed it in her own way. Choose the friends method that I do. Choose going to any expo that's on, markets, whatever it is that you want to do to create lead generation. And what I did with Wendy, and Wendy is on, I noticed, is ask her to get 3 baskets in for Christmas so that she would have lots of new leads. And I did ask her for Melbourne Cup as well. And I would like to tell you that Valentine's Day is coming up, and I want 3 baskets, lead baskets, where they win a free facial. They go in the draw totally free to win the basket. You have 25 runner-up prizes of free facials, and you can just have it for one day in a restaurant. You can just have it for Valentine's Day, or you could have it for the whole week leading up to Valentine's Day and make a beauty basket. Ask your favorite coffee shop, your favorite. We got so many leads from Thai restaurants, so many leads. And one of my girls, she went to lunch with her mum at the Thai restaurant, specifically to book the Thai restaurant for a lead basket. And the lady said, I have 7 other Thai restaurants. Would you like to do it in the other 7 restaurants as well? Can you believe it? So I want 3 leads baskets for Valentine's Day. I want 3 leads baskets for Easter and 3 leads baskets for Mother's Day. So it's time for you to get your lead generation working, your family and friends using Nutrimetics, because if they're not using Nutrimetics, they are using crap most of the time. Okay? So we can't have them using crap on their face. So we need them using, I do honestly believe that our products are the most incredible products in the country, value for money. You cannot beat us value for money with what we have. And I love our platinum range. And we've suggested that we have another range on top of platinum that is a super platinum range. I don't know if they're listening to our suggestions, but we thought it was a good suggestion, didn't we, Adam? And a sponsoring appointment, I mainly use this book because that's what I tell people. The history of Nutrimetics, the beauty lab is in Sydney. We support Look Good, Feel Better, which is an incredible charity. I've been through breast cancer twice myself. One of my very good friends is going through it at the moment. So many of my team have gone through it. 1 in 9 Australian girls will go through breast cancer. What an incredible opportunity you have. And the Breast Cancer Society is willing for you to do a charity fundraiser at any time you want for breast cancer. So you could run a basket just in your suburb and raise money for breast cancer if you want to. They'll give you all the paperwork and the authorization to do it. All of the reasons to join Nutrimetics are incredible for women and men. You can do social media and building relationships, or one or the other. but I'm a big believer that people are looking for face-to-face relationships. It tells you how much money you can earn. And if in 6 months you'd like to earn $10,000, then help your team members who want to earn $10,000 in 6 months, help them to do it. But it's going to take 2 or 3 months to be an apprentice to then be able to fully earn the income over the next 6 months. Tell them a little bit about the incredible people and tell them that they will learn how to diagnose skin. And every single facial you do not even go there without a skin diagnosis chart, because it's the skin diagnosis chart on the wish list. I write down what I recommend for them. I always recommend a 3-step skincare, and then basically the steps with the extra mask and exfoliator and eye serum and whatever else I think they need. I write down the prices and I say, can I help you at all with anything to continue looking after your skin? And that's how it is nothing for me to bring home a $200 or $300 order from doing a free facial on a beautiful girl and helping her feel good. And Adam did a makeup masterclass that I was the chief assistant to in Bowral or Yass, can't remember which one. And when Adam used her as a model, at the end, she started crying when she looked in the mirror. And she said, "You have no idea what you have done for me today." Remember that lovely lady, Adam? Yeah, she was crying because she looked in the mirror and she saw that she was beautiful. And that's what we can do for people. And if I have one girl cry a year because I made her look beautiful, that is worth it to me. Let's have a good month, everyone. Hope to see you in the middle of February at our conference. If not, then I hope that you use all the strategies that you've learned today. You listened to last month's with Lee Aarons, which was absolutely superb. And you can listen to all the other ones from last year and learn how to build a business in Nutrimetrics, and not just a small business, but $1 million business or a $6 million business. Thank you for joining me. Good night.